All right, as you all most definitely know by now, a week from tomorrow will be the 9th annual Sierra Foothills Amateur Radio Club Hamfest over at the historic Loomis Train Depot. Our Hamfest crew has been working around the clock, preparing, organizing, and assembling an excellent group of volunteers who will make sure that the event is safe, exciting, informative, and possibly even fun. Who knows? So Aaron Jones, K6ABJ, has graciously volunteered to chair the Hamfest for a second time after the amazing job he did last year. So I would like to welcome Aaron and soon all the other volunteer leads to the podium, and let them introduce to us what will be happening at the Hamfest. With that, take it away, Aaron.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you all. So yes, Saturday, March 22nd is the Hamfest. We're going to have a great time. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the donuts. Okay, so it's going to be over at the historic Loomis Train Depot. And there is the address. It is also prominently displayed on the club's website. Some tidbits for volunteers. There's going to be a sign-in. If everybody that is volunteering could please sign in at some point during the day. That is going to be over at the concessions area. Volunteers get a free donut and coffee. And a ticket has already been sent out to those volunteers. If you want a ticket for some free donut and coffee, sign up as a volunteer and I'll send you a ticket as well. A couple of the equipment to bring on this adventure. I've sent out a complete list of things to bring. This is the abbreviated. You'll want a safety vest and a headlamp. It will be dark in the morning when we first arrive, and so that is very important. A radio programmed with the communications plan, and the comm plan, again, is prominently displayed on the club website, and it's also on what's called a reference card, and that, if you are a volunteer, I've sent that out to you. You can print that out. It has the comm plan along with all the names of the leads and whatnot. And then, of course, your club badge. Everybody is wearing those, or most people are wearing those tonight. Fantastic. And then at the end, after we've done the teardown, please stick around. We're going to take a group photo of everybody, so we want to have your picture in that. And setup time is 4:30 in the morning. Sellers are supposed to arrive at 6, but they will be there much earlier than that as well. And same thing with the buyers. They're told to start at 7, but they will be showing up early, as will the buyers who are going to be, the sellers, which will also be buyers. So anyways, we're going to begin teardown at 11 o'clock. The grand prize raffle item will be raffled off at 11 o'clock at the end, so there'll be time to make sure everybody is in the drawing for that raffle. And then we should all be out of there by noon. We're usually done before that, so. And then Hamfest parking.
So we have 4 main lots, and there's Blue Goose West, which is where the Blue Goose, do we have... Is there a slide with the map? So here's like the train station, and this is where all the sellers will be and everything. This is kind of our primary lot, but we usually end up, sorry about that, we usually end up taking, a lot of us end up taking that lot. Hopefully we have this lot open. It was open last year, it wasn't the year before. That's the Blue Goose East lot. The school becomes the main, kind of a main parking lot as well. And then we've never had to do this as far as I know, but there's a city parking lot over here behind what was a drugstore, but now is the Ace Hardware. We could use volunteers. The more volunteers we have, the more everybody gets to do a shorter little shift and get to cruise the event itself. What we're trying to do is, as people come in here, I guess there is a little parking along this street, but people are just going to jam past here. We're going to have a person right here on the corner of Taylor and Horseshoe Bar that's going to try and sort people out and get the buyers to go that way. And this is a whole exercise in herding cats sometimes, but Well, there's going to be somebody up here helping Dennis with anybody that squeaks through. We'll end up with a person here to try and direct them here. We'll need to make sure nobody is parking in the railroad right away up there. They'll get towed by the railroad if their car doesn't get creamed first. And again, no parking in front of the Blue Goose itself. We'll have somebody, I usually have somebody there to kind of shoo people away, and then there'll be somebody else here to guide people into those two lots. So I don't know if we have any other questions, but. Oh, good idea. So you got Taylor's, a little hamburger stand here, and we can't park in their lot at all, but people will come through here. Handicapped people will get diverted right here and go into the handicapped lots, but they have to have a placard or a license plate designating them as a handicapped person. So any volunteers? Anybody else? Feel free to reach out to Aaron. Yes, that's it. All right.
Thank you so much, Russ. Much appreciated. Let's see here. So the club table, if I could have... Okay, Jim, WA8MPA. Oh, I should be over here. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this is a picture, I believe, from last year. Our club table's right down front and center. I mean, when you walk on by the train station, you get your coffee, you get your donut, you're going to walk right into the club table area. This year, we're going to do what we've done in the past 5 years. If you have an item that you personally want to sell for yourself, you bring it to the club table. I have tags already made up. You put your name, your phone number. You can put down a note as to condition and asking price. If someone is interested in your item, we simply give them the phone number. You communicate with that individual. You should probably be prepared to come back to the club table, do your bartering, whatever you're going to do. And then assuming that you sell it, great. Move on, spend the money, do something else with it. If not, and it doesn't sell by the end of the event, we would like for you to take it home. We are not going to be responsible for anything that gets left there. We have to leave the facility as clean as we found it, or better, potentially. 3 items that you can bring, sell for yourself. If you have something you want to donate to the club, where the club gets the receipts, and you have a dozen items, that's fine, as long as it's semi-good quality stuff. So if you have something that you don't want to put in your trash can, don't bring it to the swap meet. If you have something that looks like it has some value, let's say $3 to $5 and up, we'd be glad, tickle pink, to get it. Again, all the proceeds go to the club. And right now, pre-sales, we're at about $350 to $400.
Thank you so much, Jim. So on Friday night, we need a few people to show up out there at the Loomis train station on Friday night to help unload the trucks. We've got quite a bit of gear to unload and just stage it for the next morning, help put some prices on it and whatnot. 5 o'clock on Friday evening. What else do we have here? Okay, so it's going to be $10 per stall if you're trying to sell something, but as Jim said, you can drop off a couple items, up to 3 items at the stall, at the table, the club table. And it's also members price, $5 per stall, so it's a little bit cheaper. And then Chris, come on up. So Chris is going to talk about the coffee and donuts. He's going to keep us well fed and energized.
Maybe. So I'm Chris, N6CTC, and again this year I will be your donut and coffee overlord. Is there anybody here that's on my team? Just that person, just Mark. Okay. So hopefully there are really people on my team. Otherwise we're going to be busy. So donuts $2, coffee $2. Refills if able. That means if the coffee machines are working good and we have the coffee, then we'll probably be able to refill it. Coffee and donut special, it's a whopping $3. Volunteers are free. That means we won't pay you if you volunteer. So I think that you get a donut for free and coffee. Yeah, one donut and as much coffee as is available. Are there any questions? Sweet.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, and then Aaron, if you could speak about prizes in the drawing.
So we have prizes. So first of all, the tickets are going to be $2 a piece. If you buy 10, you get 11 tickets, so you get a little bonus there. If you buy 10 or more, we'll print out little labels like we've done in the past. Thanks to Brian AI6US, he brings this awesome little printer. And we got slides for all this. Awesome. You don't need to be present to win, although if we had to ship something to you, you do have to pay the freight. Shipping one of these prizes might cost a little bit. And we got an April 11th deadline to collect it. So, all right, go back to the prize one, would you please? Okay, so here's some of our really awesome prizes. We have a Yaesu FT710, brand new HF radio. So, if you guys are looking to get a radio, that is a great radio. We have a little 12-inch or a 7-inch 12-volt laptop that's could be set up for doing like POTA and stuff. We got a FT60 HT. We got an FT4XR. I think we're going to have some TID radios there as well. We still have things coming in today. So we have gift certificates from HRO, DX Engineering, Alpha Delta gave 5 of them. We've also got N3F JP logging software, so you get a gift certificate, get a copy of that. Same thing, RT Systems. So maybe you'll win a radio and you can get some RT System software for it. So lots of stuff. So it's probably our biggest giveaway. It's the biggest one I've done in 3 years anyway. So I don't know if you've done anything bigger than that before me, but I have to thank a bunch of the. It was over our budget for the club. Club budget's a certain amount of money, and we had a bunch of members who donated a little extra so we could pay for that baby. So I think it's going to be a great giveaway. So come out and buy some tickets. So any questions?
It always comes up. People want to buy that maybe are listening tonight. So not need to be present to win, but you need to be present to purchase?
Yes, you need to be present to purchase. Get your name on those tickets. So be there to buy your tickets. You don't have to stay, though. I know how it can be sometimes. You buy all the good stuff, and then you want to get out of there before the traffic jam starts. Don't forget you can go to that little restaurant, Taylor's, and get breakfast, too. So, all right, I think that was it.
Thank you, Aaron. So down on the bottom of this are all the different companies that have donated towards these prizes. We also have generous donations to buy some of the radios and whatnot. Brian, Smitty, Aaron, Jim, Jeff, and I can't read, Dennis. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Now, the test table. Is it up there? Yes. Okay. Test table. Okay, so Ryan is going to be leading the test table. I'm really excited about the group of volunteers that are going to be doing this. So if you're buying a power supply, an antenna, a radio, and you can bring it over there to the test table, as long as the seller's okay with that, and test it out before you buy it. And they're going to be, they'll have their own little thing there. So Graydon, the Elmer tours. Graydon, KC6SLE, is going to be helping hams let them know what is around for sale, explaining what it's used for, asking general questions. The Elmers are going to be staged over at the test table. And so if you want some guidance over there, we really do need some more Elmers, though. Thankfully, Graydon has shared some of these Elmers in helping other areas of the event. And so if they are available, if we have Elmers, we will give those tours. If they're not available, anybody know what these two items are? Evidently, these were at last year's ham swap. One looks like, I don't know. So we need Elmers to explain what these things are. And then our safety officer and first aid, Aries. Come on up, Scott.
Hi, guys. Yeah, that's me. I'm going to be the safety officer and doing first aid with Bob back there and 6 EMS. He's going to be assisting with the first aid side. Can you bring up those documents for me, Greg? Medical plan. Just kind of know that we do have a medical plan. Our plan has been vetted by the fire department. When I wrote this, I sent it to them. They reviewed it. So obviously 911, the magical numbers, not 411, will get you somebody who actually will probably help you. Bob and I will be basic first aid because that's what we can do at this type of an event. It's going to be located, the first aid station is going to be located, I think right next to Brian doing the coffee break, but pretty much near the front door of there'll be a big sign that says first aid. You won't be able to miss it. I just put the local area hospitals if somebody needs to go to the hospital and they want to transport themselves. We will have an AED on site. For people that are walking around that are part of the staff doing work, if there is a medical issue, someone falls and whacks themselves on the ground, let's not try to move them around too much. They fell for a reason. They probably hurt themselves in the fall, and we don't want to aggravate or make something worse. If it's just a minor boo-boo, have them come over and see us. But let us, if we have to come over there, don't transmit any medical information over the radio. Just say, we have a medical, it's at, give me a slot number, stall number, light a fire, put a flag up. I don't care, let us know where it's at. So we're not running around trying to find it. And then if we do have to call 911, obviously Aaron, being the lead of this, will be the IC for it. We'll have someone call 911. Someone will be directed where more than likely they're going to show up at the main entrance, either fire or EMS. And then from there, they will be directed to where we need to be. We don't need a million people gathering around, but we do need to keep people away. It's not a looky-loo fest. So please be cautious of that. We are going to be using the simplex channel, TAC1, as part of the W6EK comm plan. If you use medical, again, just real quick, break, medical. Bob and I will both be monitoring that traffic, and we'll go and handle it. If there is a medical, just please stay off the radio until we can clear the scene and do what we need to do, because we don't need a lot of chatter going back and forth out there. If we have to bump off to another channel, TAC2 will be if we have to bump off for something else. But hopefully we won't have to. That's pretty much the medical plan. Do you want to bring up the safety plan, please? Great, medical plan, safety plan. Guys, the primary objective of the safety plan is to make sure everybody has a great time and leaves in the same condition that you showed up in. A safe environment for both the Sierra Foothills Amateur Radio Club members and the general public. That's our goal. That's our real stated objectives for this. The SFARC club members and staff is to provide a safe environment for all attendees. Remember, we're ambassadors. Even though we may not be working at the event, we're all ambassadors to W6 or the Sierra Foothills Amateur Radio Club. So we make sure we want to put a good foot forward and provide that environment, be very helpful to people out there. Fatigue management, it's imperative that all team members work together to prevent fatigue, rotate staff if possible to prevent fatigue. So if we've got people out on the street doing something, they're getting tired, let's rotate them through. As fatigue rolls in, complacency rolls in. When complacency rolls in, injuries are not too far behind. So let's be cognitive of that. Let's watch out for each other. Slip, trips, and falls. This is probably one of the most important ones. Sure, all members are wearing proper footwear. Try not to wear open-toed shoes, please. I'd like you to leave with all your toes. To prevent fatigue, sprains, and strains, if you've got closed-toed shoes, things like that, we don't want things to get dropped, people to roll over your foot, something like that. That's not a good thing. with the limited visibility we have out there, especially in the morning hours, with Russ and the parking crew and things like that, there's a huge amount of potential for slip, trips, and falls, and tripping over, falling over, getting ran over by the general public. As we do know, when people drive, where they look is where they usually drive. Hey, look. So head on a swivel. Be looking around for your team members. You'll be looking around for yourself. Be looking around for the general public. Again, we go back to this, provide a safe environment for all the attendees. Hey, if we see someone doing something that's an attendee that's not doing something safe or is about to walk up in front of traffic, let's bring a halt to that real quick out there. Low light environments, we talked about headlamps. If your headlamp happens to glow red, cool beans. Red light's a lot better than white light, because especially when you stare at somebody while you're talking to them, you blow their night vision, and it takes about 15 minutes for their night vision to recover after being blown out with white light. So if your headlamp has the ability for red, go for it, please. Or if you're going to talk to somebody, aim it down so you're not blinding them out there. Try a headlamp with a red option. We talked about that. Don't know what the weather's going to be like, but it's going to be in the morning, so obviously slips are going to be real easy out there. Be very cognitive of that. Especially if we've got people who are disabled or things like that, let's make sure that we're watching out for them as well. A lot of uneven surfaces out there. Curbs, gravel, things like that. Ensure proper footing when doing something. We talked about the traffic hazards. Make yourself as visible as possible. If you've got a highly reflective vest, highly encourage you wear it. Brian, go ahead.
Does the club have safety vests for those who do not own them?
Yeah, so Aaron, W1ATB, has lots of safety vests, so if you need a high reflective vest, please obtain it from Scott. Aaron's going to be dropping all of those off at the Aries booth first aid station.
Yeah. And make sure we get them back too, please. I don't know if they're Aaron's private stock or how he's getting them, or if they're the club's. Let's make sure we get them back. They're the clubs, so let's make sure we get them back. So we've got them for other things. Make sure we're following the traffic patterns. I know Russ, and crew has probably developed a traffic pattern for people to move. Let's make sure we're telling people the right thing, so he's not telling them one thing and someone's telling them something else, and we've got cars crossing in front of each other. Again, we want to provide that safe environment for all attendees up there. There's a great potential for being stuck by vehicles, especially if you're out on Taylor Road or on Horseshoe Bar Road. Cars are moving at a pretty good clip. Let's just make sure that we don't get caught up with that out there. Ergonomics, there's a great chance of back strains, sprains, moving heavy objects. When we're setting stuff up, get help for lifting, get help for moving, and use proper lifting techniques. Really important. If it's got 2 handles on it, that means it's meant to be grabbed. If it's got 4 handles on it, I mean, get enough people to help move that object out there, and be cognitive out there. Sure to get help when lifting heavy objects, proper lifting techniques. Electrical hazards. I don't know if we're going to have generators out there. Yes, no, maybe, possibly, I don't know. All right, cool. It may be wet on the ground, so make sure that we're using proper electrical cords. We're not overloading circuits. Things are GFCI'd, so if things get wet, we're not lighting things up. Only Bob and I get to play with electricity. We call that Thomas Edison medicine. We're the only people that get to play with electricity. Don't overload circuits. Ensure electrical cords do not present a tripping hazard. That goes back to the slip, trips, and falls. Try to tuck your cords in so people are not walking over them, or if you have to walk over them, tape them down so people don't snag them. Or people who don't walk very well, we don't want people falling over and getting hurt. Hydration, 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 hydration. Monsters, Red Bulls, things like that are probably some of the worst drinks you can possibly drink for yourself. I think Bob and I can probably tell you all kinds of stories about these types of drinks. I've actually seen somebody blow their heart apart, and they fell dead on the ground after drinking 4 Monsters. So yeah, try to be careful not to drink these. They actually do more harm than good. They take away, they call dehydration. Monitor each other for heat stress. It doesn't probably going to be warm or hot out there, but keep in mind, heat stress can occur at any temperature. So it's the same with cold injuries. So make sure we're dressing warmly if it's cold. If it gets hot, make sure we're watching each other for that and be cognitive of those issues. Take frequent breaks if you need them. No harm, no foul. Drinking water, really good. Drink plenty of water. If you start to feel a few quarts low or you need a pick-me-up, come see us at the first aid. We'll have things like liquid IV or Squencher. I do know for those who are diabetic, our Squencher is sugar-free, so it will not mess up your diet. It will not mess up your sugar levels and give us another issue to deal with out there. So come chat with us. If you need it, we'll be more than happy to help you out. Water will be available, correct, at the donut, and water will be available at the coffee and donut station.
We're going to try to bring it around to the people working off scene over at the
Microphone.
parking. So we will have bottled water available. We're going to try to take it around to the sellers and to those that are working out off the immediate scene, to parking officials and whatnot.
Yeah. If you, I believe the club still has the Gatorade packets. Is that correct? Great. We've got those as well. So if you guys need some of those, you can get a hold of Mark, I believe. He may have or may not have some out there. I don't know. But again, come see me. I've got a lot of stuff. Or Bob. Generators. We're going to be using generators, guys. Let's make sure we're properly positioning them so we're not blowing the exhaust into people. Try to keep them at a safe distance, things like that. If you've got to refuel a generator, turn the generator off, no hot fueling. I don't want to create any more problems. We don't need a barbecue out there. Let's see, make sure generators are properly grounded for electrical issues. Don't ground a generator to a chain link fence. I've seen that done. We lit the chain link fence on fire. And that's a neat trick. Well, I have to admit, it was a 70 kW generator. We lit the fence on fire. Remember, back to the whole concept, safety is everybody's responsibility, regardless if it's me, Brian, Aaron, anybody. We all have the authority to stop something that is unsafe. If it doesn't look right, if it doesn't pass the smell test, let's stop it and let's rethink the plan and move forward from there. If you see something, say something. Don't just say, not my problem. It's not a me thing, it's a them thing. So, but it's an us thing because it impacts us as a group. We can stop any unsafe act. And again, I go back to my original statement. Remember, we are the ambassadors to the public. We want to make sure we give a proper outlook and attitude with them, have a good safety attitude. If we look out for them, it makes us heroes. At the end of the day, they remember what we do and how we do it, and be cognitive of what we do out there. And again, Semper Gumby, and keep your head on the swivel.
Thank you so much, Scott. You've put a lot of work into this, and we appreciate it. So we're also going to be using tactical call signs out there. So if you're needing to reach concessions, you show up as a volunteer and you're not quite sure where your team lead is at, go ahead and just get on the radio on the TAC 1 channel and say, parking, where can I meet you at? And the person that is the lead for parking will respond. We don't need to use our call signs except for to identify. Even though we're using tactical calls at the end of a conversation or something like that, we still do need to identify with our call sign. And then security. Gary, can you come up and say a few words?
That's what Aaron said. Anyway, I just got a couple of notes here that I wrote down. Part of our job is to help Dennis with the parking. As the vendors come in early in the morning, Dennis takes the money, gives me a call, tells us, how many people are aboard so I could keep track of the vendors, and then I'll send them down, and they'll be escorted to their stall there. Now, they could pretty much pick where they want to go, but we got to make sure they stay within, if they pay for one stall, they get one stall. If they pay for two, they'll get two. And then every hour, we will be manning 4 spots coming in and we'll have those little clickers with us. And what we're doing is we're counting the people coming in. And then every hour I will call and get a count, and we'll just keep that going. And we'll do that for about 3 hours. So we have an idea how many people are showing up at, say, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And we want to have a good time. So the other thing, too, is that you're not going to be stuck there. We'll have enough people where they could come and relieve you, and then you could, enjoy the Hamfest and walk around and see things. So you're not stuck there for 3 or 4 hours. One of the things you have to have is an HT. Now, if you don't have one, Aaron will supply you one. You just need to go down to HRO, and he has a good selection of them. Anyway, and the other thing is that we keep our eyes and ears open. We all have radios. You see a problem, get on the radio. You have cell phones. If it's that bad, you can always call 911 as well. And remember, 2 donuts, 2 cups of coffee. Any questions? There you go.
Thank you. I appreciate all of your work out there. Okay, so we still need some help. We've got 6 positions to fill, which is really phenomenal. We've gotten a lot of people stepping forward to help volunteer for this event. But we do need a few more positions filled so we can give appropriate rotations and respite to people as well. And so we have 3 spots available for security. I've got 2 spots we still need to fill for parking. And then Elmer tours. I could use, 1 or 2 more Elmers to be available. That would be much appreciated. And yes, you get free coffee and a donut. I can be reached at k6abj@hamradio.com. So if you're ready to volunteer, we could definitely use you. Just send an email to k6abj@hamradio.com. Or just scan this little QR code and you can fill out that form, or go online to the club's website. There's a link there too to fill out. And or talk with myself, Gary, Russ, and then stick around afterwards. We had lots of volunteers. These are all our volunteers from last year, or at least those that stuck around for the photo. And so at the end of the event, please stick around and let us take your picture. Any questions? Yes. So the question is there any particular parking for volunteers? Anywhere the buyers are able to park. So the same stuff that Russ just went over. Best parking is really going to be over at the school. It's a little bit of a walk, but exercise is good for us. And it's also, that you're going to have a parking space. You don't have to drive around looking for one. I find it much more convenient personally to park over there at the school. And so when you come in, just turn right, and the school is down the road there. Any other questions? Yes, Scott.
So talking to Bob, he kind of brought up a good point, and I probably didn't clarify this very well. So if we do have to not call 911, don't need everybody calling 911, number one. And if it's a stub toe, I broke my fingernail, we don't want to be calling the people out if it's not a necessity. Unless that individual truly wants a 911 response and wants to be seen, then we'll call it. But get a hold of Bob and I, let us make the call. Unless it's an obvious, they got ran over by a car, and it's an obvious, we don't want to delay that response of getting the people moving. So we just don't want just calling 911 just for the giggles of it out there. So just keep that in mind. Let us know what's going on. And Bob and I, we're only going to be probably less than a minute away, so we'll make that determination. But we will point to somebody and say, you dial the magical numbers. I don't need 15 phone calls going to the PSAP of this happening. So that's I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Yeah, and we will have, most people are going to be monitoring TAC 1, that is the default simplex station or frequency. And so if you're listening to that, you're going to be able to hear the first person that says, I'm calling 911. And then once you do call 911, come back onto the frequency and let them know that 911 has been called. So anyways, thank you all. Please sign up if you have not signed up already for as a volunteer. And back to Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron. That was awesome.